Hello, I am making a video to those who had bullied me or falsely accused me of cursing in a foreign language. Back in 2015, when I went to Julia De Burgos. To those who thought I was calling out some student's full name, I was actually mentioning my health condition, which is known as seizure disorder, but its actual name is epilepsy. If I had a tonic-clonic seizure at 9 years old, then you all would have known, and the teacher would have also known that I was trying to call out my epilepsy condition, or seizure disorder. There's more to epilepsy than meets the eye. The kid who's called Epi must have been named after the health condition, seizure disorder, epilepsy. The high schoolers who thought I cussed in Spanish either must be from a section of Philadelphia that is not served by SEPTA, SouthEastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, or must be not from Philadelphia, like from a certain section of Pennsylvania, or even not from Pennsylvania. Because Franklin means free in German, and Frank is a short or nickname to Franklin, and Ford is the last name that is also used in the naming of a car brand. So Frankford could be someone named Franklin Ford and had his street named after him, with the full first name shortened to the nickname, which would be Frank. This hat I'm wearing is a merchandise of SouthEastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority. Also, the initials SEPTA is another initials for a associations group called Springgarden Elementary Parent-Teacher Associations. If SEPTA is a curse word in Spanish, then SouthEastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority and Springgarden Elementary Parent-Teacher Associations both wouldn't have their initials be that way, and also their names that way too. Like, SEPTA could have been just renamed to Pennsylvania Transportation Authority from Philadelphia Transportation Company. Which would have been PTA. Well, Philadelphia Transportation Company is PTC. Also, there's more to the seizure disorder called epilepsy than meets the eye. Tonic-clonic seizures are not the only types of seizures with the seizure disorder. There's drop attacks, absence seizures, and many other types of seizures, not just tonic-clonic. When I was 9 years old, I had absence seizures. But as I got older, the seizures leveled up from absence to tonic-clonic and drop attacks. Drop attacks would be like, well, tonic-clonics would be, which could also lead to biting of the tongue, like this. So please know that health conditions are more than just certain ones that were mentioned in the classroom 129 at Julia De Burgos. And there's high schoolers who falsely accused me of cursing on the school bus when I was laying out. There were certain coming ups when I saw certain train line area. The section of the Market-Frankford Line. Also note that Market is the name of a street, and certain titles of stores, like John's Market. I was not saying motherfucker in Spanish when I said Market-Frankford Line. And I was not saying shit in Spanish when I said SEPTA. S stands for South, or Springgarden, depending on certain companies that has this initial set. The E standing for Eastern, or elementary, depending on those companies that have this initials. P standing for Pennsylvania, or parent, depending on companies that have the same initials. T standing for transportation, or teacher, depending on the same companies that have the same initials. And the A standing for authority, or associations, depending on the company that has the same initials with each other. For public transit companies, SouthEastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority. SouthEastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority. For certain school things, Springgarden Elementary Parent-Teacher Associations. So, you should know that there's not any curse words in Spanish, from what I know. And SEPTA doesn't stand for shit in Spanish. SEPTA is initials for either Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority or Springgarden Elementary Parent-Teacher Associations. You should know that. If you're going around Philadelphia on that school bus and you're thinking that there's curse words in Spanish around, the Ford company that made cars and sold cars wouldn't have Ford as their name. And certain street lines, or certain streets, I should say, wouldn't have certain nicknames of people's full names as the part of a name of those streets. Like Frankford Avenue wouldn't have Frankford as its name. It would have had something like Franklin Avenue instead. And the Ford company, I should say, would have Ford as its name. And if market is Spanish for mother in certain languages that are evolved from Spanish, then stores that have market in their names wouldn't have market. And Market Street would have had Main as their name. Because during the certain times, the main street in Philadelphia had certain stores, tables that were selling certain stuff, which led to Main Street in Philadelphia being renamed to Market Street. So, you should all know that there are no curse words that are from those names or initials in Spanish. For those high schoolers who falsely accused me of cursing on the school bus, you should explore Philadelphia on your own. If you see a white bus with a red to blue gradient stripe above or underneath certain windows, side windows having the above stripes, while windshield having lower stripes, and the rear end having the same lower stripes as the windshield, you should read its side. SEPTA, Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority. And same thing upon walking up to a train station. The L1 train line, which was formerly known as Market-Frankford Line, or originally named as Market-Frankford Line, which was also originally named Blue Line, would have had different naming if Frankfurt meant fuck in Spanish. And Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority would have had a different naming than Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority if its initials, SEPTA, meant shit in Spanish. And Market would have been different named if Market stand for mother in Spanish. And also, there are electric vehicles powered by overhead wires on the streets. In some places, they're known as trams. Other places, trolleys. Or streetcars, rather. And in Philadelphia, trolleys. Philly would call streetcars trolleys, while some other places would call the streetcars trams, and other places would call them streetcars. And electric buses, which are known as trackless trolleys or trolley buses in Philadelphia, would be called electric buses in other places that have the same type of vehicle. So, next time, if you encounter someone who's from Philadelphia and is familiar with Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, please do research on companies that are in the area. And also, for those who are thinking that I was calling out Epi's full name when I was calling out my health condition's name, do research on the seizure disorder that is known as epilepsy, so that you all know what I was referring to when I said epilepsy in 4th grade at Julia De Burgos. Okay? Bye.